Back to your daily dose. My name is Robert, my pal Susan, and we're talking all things day one. We want to really, make sure first and foremost that you're invited, please, to join us in the next round of classes starting in May. Go to the website, yesandexercise.org, click the day one tab to see more. Susan, you had your hand up?
I do, yes. I imagine there are lots of people who have taken either the very first course you ever did when we used Star Wars, the movie, New Hope, or the second one, or maybe even the new third one, the Inside Out, who would then say, I did that. I went on the hero's journey and it was amazing and I learned all these things. Speaking as someone who's done everything you've given us a chance to do, I found that every time I wrote my story, it turned out to be a different story. I would so strongly encourage anyone to believe that doing another hero's journey is.
This is important because, like in so many ways, you have been the leader of this, and you were one of the first people, and it was in the second round of doing this that you decided, I'm not telling a Parkinson's story. You and Diane, I think, were similar. And at that time, you were dealing with, the idea of suicide in your family and how it affected you. And, people go, well, can I do that? And just resoundingly, I want to put yes and out to that. If you go, wait a minute, I told my Parkinson's story, fine. You can come and tell any story, or just come blank and go, I don't know what I'm telling, but I'm here. And as long as you're going to be present and you will try, we'll find your story. It will show up based on you being open to the adventure and having the backdrop of the great films and the hero's journey structure. Something will come to you. And then, again, I more strongly than ever in this term, I think, as you've seen, I'm happy to do hand-holding. Once people have out the information and they've declared their greatest wish and greatest fear, they've gotten that trust into the classroom, we can go ahead and put, now let's talk about what you like. Let's go ahead and put it into a form.
Let's talk about the greatest wish and the greatest fear.
Sure.
First time you asked us to do that, you were very serious. You wanted us to do that. You meant it. And I thought, and so couldn't figure it out. I don't think I ever wrote it down anywhere because there were so many things. And so I want to put it out there that that's okay to not know, because it took me probably from going through a whole course and never getting there to doing the course probably for the third time. I don't think you ask us to identify the wish and the fear the first time.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, but I had to
develop it.
Yes, exactly. And that's part of why these courses are so amazing. They are getting developed and redeveloped and deepened and massaged in every way all along. But when I did this time, like, force myself, like, Susan, you can't get away with this anymore. You have to figure it out. If you're going to write this story, I wasn't sure where I was going to go even. But that is a great idea, to nail down what I really want, what I really need, what I really wish for.
Yeah.
Whether I get there or not is a different story. How I get there is not. Whether it's possible, like some people's wishes for a cure. Yeah. That's a big ask. And it's led them to powerful, fabulous writing. So that made a big difference for me.
Absolutely. And what you're saying reminds me of the fact that however people get here, the important thing is to be here, right? That, by showing up, by saying yes and to being part of the community actively, you're allowing yourself the opportunity. And by the way, it's totally okay. And I've spent a lot of time in this week's classes for the people who did feel stuck to say, I'm stuck. Totally good. What I think changed from earlier classes from I'm stuck is say, super, you can't write. Just do me a favor. Keep showing up and keep reading and commenting on others. You will find your path by connecting to the community. And that's why you have to be in here. If frames in my mind right now is like, this is a super focused, high-end support group, if you want to look at it that way. This is not a meandering go over whatever. No, we're going to get you parameters. We're going to get you something extremely valuable so long as you show up and are willing to yes and others. We'll find you in that space, not knowing, in fact, maybe one of the greatest gifts you could give yourself, because you give yourself the opportunity to find the truth in the present, as opposed to, you know, a fear or a perception from the outside of what you think you want, right?
Can we come back on the next dose and talk a little bit about what happens next?
You're leading in. Yeah, I'll see you on the next one.
Okay.